Gervonta "Tank" Davis has always been a fighter who commands attention, both inside the ring and out. Known for his explosive knockout power and fiery personality, Davis has dominated the lightweight division for years, accumulating a loyal fan base and a string of impressive victories. However, in a recent statement, Davis revealed something that shocked the boxing world. He plans to retire after 2025. This declaration has sparked intense discussions, with fans and analysts alike speculating about his future in the sport and what it means for his upcoming fights. Davis's announcement came as a surprise to many, particularly given his current momentum. At just 29 years old, Davis is still at the peak of his powers, having successfully defended multiple titles and solidified his reputation as one of boxing's most dangerous punchers. However, he has expressed that he is growing tired of the sport. As Davis prepares for his upcoming fight against Lamont Roach Jr., it seems clear that his mindset has shifted. Davis no longer seems driven by the pursuit of more belts, instead focusing on wrapping up his career on his own terms. Many fans had hoped to see Davis take on some of the biggest names in the sport before he exits, such as Shocker Stevenson or Devin Haney. However, Davis's comments about retirement indicate that he is looking at the sport differently now. In interviews leading up to his fight with Roach, Davis made it clear that he has no interest in chasing after new belts or taking on challenges just for the sake of it. He's ready to step away from boxing when he feels his time has come, and he's intent on going out with a bang. The announcement has raised questions among fans and fighters alike. Does Davis have one foot out the door already? Is his heart still in the sport, or is he merely going through the motions? Despite his assertion that retirement is near, Davis remains as outspoken and competitive as ever, especially in the lead-up to his fight with Lamont Roach Jr. He has made it clear that he intends to end his career on top, using every remaining fight to prove his dominance. This fiery attitude was on full display in the press conferences ahead of the Roach bout. Davis didn't hold back in his verbal exchanges, taking personal jabs at Roach and even at Roach's father, Lamont Sr. In one instance, Davis mocked Roach Sr. for appearing nervous at a previous meeting, calling attention to his shaking hands. These were not just typical pre-fight trash talk, they were calculated psychological tactics meant to get into Roach's head and establish Davis's dominance. Davis's reputation for mental warfare is well known in boxing, and he's using it to his advantage as he prepares to face Roach. For Davis, this isn't just about another title defense, it's about making a statement. He wants to remind everyone that he's still the king of the lightweight division, despite the whispers about his impending retirement. "I'm going to take advantage of this fight and show why he shouldn't have said that," Davis said, referring to Roach's belief that Davis might not be as focused or hungry as he once was. The fight with Roach, which takes place in March, is seen as one of Davis's last opportunities to prove that his power and skill are unmatched in the lightweight division. In contrast to Davis's aggressive, sometimes combative demeanor, Lamont Roach Jr. has taken a more controlled approach to the buildup of the fight. While Davis has focused on psychological tactics and trash talk, Roach has kept his eye on the prize, working on his boxing skills and preparing to capitalize on any potential lapses in Davis's concentration. Roach is no stranger to adversity. He has been a champion at 130 pounds and has a solid amateur background, which he believes will allow him to hang with Davis. Roach sees this fight as his opportunity to elevate his own career, not just as a title holder, but as a legitimate contender who can take down one of the sport's biggest stars. Roach has been vocal about how he plans to approach the fight, noting that he's always looking for a knockout. "I'm always prepared for 12 rounds, but I'm always looking for a knockout," Roach said. His focus is on making sure that Davis doesn't leave the ring without a fight, regardless of Davis's perceived waning focus. Roach believes this is his chance to show that he's more than just a stepping stone in Davis's career. He's aiming to prove to the world that he can defeat the champion, and that he deserves to be recognized as a top fighter in his own right. As the fight looms closer, the tension between Davis and Roach continues to build. Davis's comments have painted him as a fighter who is ready to take out his frustrations and criticisms on Roach, while Roach is determined to show that he's a force to be reckoned with. Some boxing pundits, like Claressa Shields, have voiced support for the matchup, recognizing Roach's amateur pedigree and boxing skills. Shields even expressed her willingness to buy the pay-per-view event, acknowledging that while Roach might not have the star power of some of Davis's past opponents, The fight promises to be technical and exciting. However, not everyone is sold on the fight. Analysts like Paulie Malignaggi and Chris Algieri have been critical of the event, arguing that it doesn't offer the kind of star power and drama that would justify a pay-per-view slot. Malignaggi in particular pointed out that while Roach is a solid fighter, he hasn't done enough in the pro ranks to make him a marquee opponent. He compared Roach to Ryan Garcia, another fighter who has failed to live up to the hype in his high-profile matchups. According to Malignaggi, while Roach is a better boxer than Garcia, he hasn't produced enough high-level wins or controversial moments to generate the kind of buzz that a pay-per-view event requires. The debate about the matchup's value reflects broader questions about Davis's remaining career. As the possibility of retirement looms large, many fans are wondering whether Davis will leave behind a legacy of truly great fights or whether his final years in the sport will be marked by missed opportunities. Fighters like Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney, both highly talented boxers in their own right, have been vocal about their desire to face Davis before he leaves the sport. However, Davis has expressed little interest in facing these challengers unless they can prove themselves in the ring. In particular, Davis has taken shots at Stevenson, calling his defensive style insufficient to challenge someone with his knockout power. He has dismissed the notion that Stevenson is a legitimate threat, arguing that the young fighter hasn't done enough to warrant a multi-fight deal with Davis. For Davis, boxing isn't just about defense, it's about who can stand up to his explosive offense. "What has Shakur done in the sport?" Davis asked rhetorically. "He hasn't done nothing." This dismissal of potential opponents like Stevenson and Haney has fueled speculation about Davis's motivations. Is he afraid to take on the best? Some have accused him of avoiding tough challenges, but Davis has been adamant that if a fight isn't worth his time, he won't bother with it. He has suggested that Stevenson needs to prove himself first, calling him out for his lack of knockout power and offensive aggression. For Davis, the fight has to make sense, not just in terms of the opponent's skills, but in terms of what's at stake for him as he winds down his career. Despite this, respected figures in boxing remain confident in Davis's abilities. Trainers like Larry Wade and analysts like Teddy Atlas have pointed out that Davis's knockout power is unmatched in the lightweight division. Wade, for instance, believes that no one in the 135 pounds weight class can withstand Davis's punches. His power, combined with his experience, makes him a dangerous opponent for anyone. Atlas similarly argued that Davis is the only fighter who could potentially defeat Shakur Stevenson, citing Davis's ability to crack through defensive styles with his explosive punching. As the fight against Roach approaches, the questions surrounding Davis's future only continue to grow. Will his power prove to be too much for Roach, or will the challenger rise to the occasion and show that Davis is no longer the force he once was? The build-up to this fight will be one of the most exciting and unpredictable events in recent boxing history. Whether Davis goes out with a dominant win, or whether Roach has the fight of his life and pulls off an upset, one thing is certain: March 1st will be a night to remember. For Davis, it may be the end of an era, but it could also be the beginning of a new chapter in the boxing world, one where the old guard makes way for a new generation of fighters.